In the last lecture we have seen the construction of SR flip-flop or RS flip-flop using NOR gate, and this can also be constructed using NAND gate. And if you look at the input output behavior of this flip-flop, or it is very good to say it at this stage, not a flip-flop but as a latch. Better to say it latch. Okay. So the input output behavior shows that if we apply 0 0 at S and R input, there will not be any change in the state that is already available at the output of this flip flop. This means if we do not apply anything on that latch, that will remain latched in the state that it is available. Okay. So now suppose if we deliberately wish to change the state by applying the input 0 1, means 1 is applied at S and 0 is applied at R. So we are asking this latch to set, and it will set after the application of this input. Okay. Getting my point? Now if I ask this flip flop to reset, so it will reset after the application of this input. If S is 0 and R is 1, this means we are asking this latch to reset. So it will reset, means Q bar will be 1 and Q will be 0. But there is a input at which output is not predictable. Okay. Output happens to be 0 0 or 1 0 or 1 1, okay, or 0 1. So this input state, this input is prohibited, or this is also called indeterminate or prohibited state. Okay. This situation will be modified, or this situation will also be used later on. We will see that there is a flip flop in which we make some modification in this basic SR latch, and we utilize this input condition, and that flip flop is known as JK flip flop. We will study it later on. Okay. What the JK flip flop is. Now if we look this SR flip flop in simple block form like this, now I am not bothered about what is circuitry inside. Okay. I am only interested about the terminal behavior of this flip flop. Okay. So if we simply construct the characteristic table means what present state is there, this we are knowing, what input we have applied, this we are knowing, what in which next state the circuit is going, that we have to write down, or that we have to evaluate. Okay. So suppose if the circuit was in present state 0, and if the applied input is 0 0, so in which next state the circuit will go? It will remain in 0 state. Okay. And this is what is written in this table. Okay. Circuit is presently in this state. We are applying 0 0 at the input S and R. Circuit will remain in the same state 0. Okay. Now suppose circuit is in the input is 0 0 and the present state of circuit is 1. So we are giving the input situation not to change the output, means output will not change. This means it will remain 1. If it was 1, it will still remain 1 in the next state. Getting my point? So doing this way for all input combination, performing for all input combination, and for all present state combination, we will form a table, and this table is known as characteristic table. And this characteristic table gives the behavior of this SR flip flop like a 3 input 3 input and 1 output situation. And keeping this in mind, we can now make a K map, that this is a 3 input 1 output logical circuitry. We can make a K map for this. Okay, and then after making the map and after simplification, we get an equation. What equation occurs at the output? Qn plus 1. Qn plus 1 is the next state and Qn is the present state. Okay, present state also forms the input of this SR latch. So next state is equal to S plus R bar Qn, means present state is also forming the input, and this equation is called characteristic equation. Characteristic equation. We have discussed up to this point. Okay. Now I will proceed further for the next points. So suppose we are looking at the SR flip flop or SR latch saying this input is called reset, or it is known by this symbol R, and this input is called set and it is known by this symbol S. Simply I have encapsulated it in this box, and this output is called Q and this output is called Q bar. Okay. Now what we are looking, that the major application of this SR flip flop is the setting and resetting of output. Q and Q bar is set or reset according to S and R. If S is 0, R is 1, this is 0 and 1. If S is 1 and R is 0, this is 1 and 0. And if they both are 1 1, this gives the unpredictable stage, and if they both are 0 0, there is no change in the output. So mainly we are interested about these two situations. Okay, means when the output is reset and when the output is set. So what is the way to make this total arrangement to function like this? We will focus on this. Okay, but before going into this, let us do a little modification in this latch itself. Suppose instead of applying it like this, we insert two more gates in the circuit. We insert two AND gates in the circuit. Okay, say this is gate number 1, gate number 2, this is gate number 3 and gate number 4. And now I am applying this R input from here and S input from here, and other two inputs, one of the input of this gate number 3 and one of the input of this gate number 4, they are left for a control purpose. In this circuitry, if we see, the output can be changed in an uncontrolled fashion. Input may be changed deliberately or maybe unexpectedly. It can be changed by some means, by the occurrence of say noise itself. Input may change and thereby the output will change. This may arise a unpredictable or undesired situation. Okay. If because of some noise input changes, output will change, and this becomes undesired situation. This gives us some undesired situation. Just to get rid of this undesired situation, we insert a control input. This means output can change only if this control input permits. Even if input is available, input is present, the output cannot be changed if this control does not permit. Okay. So, how this control acts? This control is also a binary input. This may have the value 0 or may have the value 1. This control may have the value 0 or may have the value 1. Suppose if I call this control to be C and this input S and this input R. Okay. And now I further say that the output are same Q and Q bar. Okay. Suppose if this control is 1, this control is 1 and S and R they are 0 0. Naturally this 0 0 will come over here. Okay. And it is not going to show any change in the present state of the circuit. Okay. This control is 1 and if S is 0 and R is 1, in this situation the Q becomes 0 and Q bar 1. Okay. If this control is 1 and this is 1 and this is 0, naturally it will occur like this. If this is 1, this is 1, then still we have the undefined situation, invalid situation. Okay. Now, suppose if the control is 0, if this control input is 0, then whatever you apply at the S and R, maybe it is 0 1, maybe it is 1 0, maybe it is 1 1, maybe it is 0 0. In every situation you will get 0 over here, means you will get no change at the output. Means if control is 0 0, it is not permitting input to be entertained at the output. So, output always occur in no change state. Okay. So, you are looking that it is imposing a better control over the application of input. Input will only be entertained if this control permits. And how this control is applied? This control is applied in the circuitry basically in the form of these 1 0 ticks, and if it is applied in this form, then it is known as clock input. So, formally it is known as clock. Indirectly it is acting as a control, but formally its name is known as clock. Okay. So, now since this flip-flop is clocked or controlled with a predefined frequency or with a predefined operation, now this is called a synchronous sequential circuit. This is synchronous, means in coherence with some clock. In coherence with some clock. Output changes can occur only in coherence with some predefined clock. Or this, in this situation, this can also be called as flip-flop. Okay. Now, latch can be named as flip-flop. Okay. But you see, the soul of any sequential circuit, the soul or decision making point or the circuit which is going to decide what will be the ultimate output, it is latch. Okay. It is this latch who is going to decide what will be the final output. When will be the final output occur? This is controlled by this clock. When is this final output going to occur? This is controlled by this clock. But what will be the final output? This is decided by the latch. So you have to very clearly understand the operation of latch. Okay, and once you understand, once you got the operation of latch, you can do anything in your sequential design. You can do all the things which is required in your sequential design. Now I am further coming to the point. This is now SR flip-flop. This is clock Q and Q bar. If our purpose is clearly defined to store a data, and in storing a data, either we will set it or I will reset it. Okay. So if it has clearly defined, so instead of applying two different inputs for this purpose, what we do, we only apply a single input. How? These two inputs are tagged together with inverter in series. Now if I wish to reset, or if I wish to memorize 0 on this memory, if I ask this memory element to memorize 0, what I need to apply? I will apply 0 over here. Naturally 1 will come at the input of this S and R. This 0 will come over here and 1 will come over here. Okay. And this circuitry will memorize 0. It will store this data 0. Suppose if I have to store, if I am willing to store 1 in this circuit, store 1 means I am asking this memory element to store 1. So I will apply this 1 at the input. Naturally it will memorize this 1. So now I need not to apply two different inputs to make it set or reset. So now this flip-flop is given a different name. Instead of R and S, we now name is D flip-flop, and D stands for data flip-flop. It is basically used for the data storage. It is the basic memory element cell. Okay, when you say that my memory is 1 GB in capacity, 1 GB means 1 gigabyte. So how many bytes it has? You tell me. 10 is to the power 9. 10 is to the power 9. 1 gigabyte is equal to 10 is to the power 9 bytes. And 1 byte means there are 8 bits. Okay, there are 8 bits. So simply to store a pattern of, say you are willing to store 1 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 in a byte. So simply you will apply these patterns at the input of these flip-flops. These are the D inputs. Okay, D inputs. So you will apply these patterns. Okay, 1 is applied over here, 1 is applied over here, 0 is applied over here, 1 is applied over here, 1 is applied over here, and they all are connected with the same clock. They all are connected with the same clock input. So as and when this clock becomes 1, so the given input pattern is stored in this memory. Getting my point? The given input pattern which is applied at the input, this is stored in the memory. Okay. So this is a way to make a single bit memory, and if you have made this single bit memory, there is no problem in making 8 bit memory or 1 byte of memory. This is simply an extension of this, simply a copy of this. A copy of 1 bit memory 8 times is a byte memory, and a copy of such 1 kilo is 1 KB of memory. Okay, and a copy of 10 is to the power 6 such bytes is 1 MB memory, and a copy of 10 is to the power 9 such bytes is 1 GB memory. Okay, so if you have designed 1 bit of memory, then there is nothing impossible in the designing of as large memory as you wish to design. Okay, so this is a D flip flop. So if we look at the operation of this D flip flop, this is D and this is clock, and this I am looking at only one output now. So naturally, if clock is 0, whatever we apply, it is not going to make any change in the output. Okay, but if clock is 1 and 0 is applied, output will become 0. If clock is 1 and 1 is applied, output will become 1. Okay. Now if you look at the characteristic table, if you form the characteristic table of this D flip flop, and when I am asking you to form the characteristic table, we will have to look how many inputs this D flip flop is having. D is the input and Qn is also a input. Qn is also input, and Qn plus 1 is the next state that we will observe after the application of this clock. This clock is not an input, this is a control input. Okay. So what input we have? We have basically Qn and D. Qn and D, and what output we are observing is Qn plus 1. Okay. This I am going to form the characteristic table for D flip flop. So if Qn is 0, applied input is 0, what will be the output? It will be 0. We are asking this output to reset. If Qn is 0 and D is 1, the output will become 1. If Qn was 1, okay, and applied input is 0, it will become 0. If Qn is 1 and applied input is 1, it will become 1. So now this is a 2 input and 1 output situation, and this can be mapped in the K-map. So you form the K-map for this. I am forming the K-map for Qn plus 1. So naturally we have Qn bar and Qn and D bar and D. Okay. So where there are 1, this Qn bar and D is 1 and Qnd is 1. Okay. So Qn plus 1 is equal to what? D. This is the characteristic equation of your D flip flop. Okay. This means output is applied input. Okay. Now we will do a little modification. A little modification in this SR flip flop. And why we do this little modification? This is done to get rid of this state. No, not this, no change. To get rid of this stage rather. This is okay. This is okay. Okay. because this is giving us an undefined kind of situation. So somehow if we can eliminate this condition and we can insert something fruitful at this place, something fruitful at this place, so that will also be used somewhere in the circuitry, somewhere in our design. Okay. So, how it can be done, let us see. This is the circuit that we have discussed so far. This is the clocked SR flip flop. Clock is applied over here. This is the clock. Okay. Now suppose if I make a modification that one of the outputs, say Q, is fed back to one of the input of, say, gate number 1. This is gate number 1, gate number 2, gate number 3 and gate number 4. This gate number 1 and 2, they are simply called steering gate. Steering gates. Okay. They are simply producing input condition for this latch. They are used to produce some input condition for this latch, which I am saying that this is the soul of the circuitry. This is the soul of the circuit. Okay. And this output, say Q bar, is connected to the one of the input of gate number 2. Okay. Now you will see, you see what will happen in different input output situations. I am drawing different input output situations. This, let us name it randomly like J and K. Why they are named so, it will be clear to you later on. Instead of S and R, they are given the different name J and K. So we have two inputs J and K, and clock is simply a control input. So let us also see what is applied at the clock and what will happen. And Q and Q bar are the outputs. Okay. So suppose if clock is 1 and J is 0 and K is 1. Okay. And for the ease of your analysis, you can assume any of the situation, any of the present state at the output, it may be 0 1 or 1 0. It may be 0 1 or it may be 1 0. But if the clock is 1, J is 0 and K is 1, so well, we have to see what is coming to decide the final output at this point. So better you assume that the present state is 1 0. Okay. So what will come at this input is 1, and at this input it will be 0. Okay. So what will be here? It will be 0 at the output of gate number 2, because it is AND gate. It is AND gate, and 1 at this output. Okay. 1 at this output. Now what will happen to the output of this latch? Here only the behavior of latch will come into play. And if, look at the behavior of NOR gate. NOR gate, if 1 is applied at one of the input of NOR gate, output definitely becomes equal to 0. Okay, output definitely becomes equal to 0. Getting my point? And this changed 0 is now coming over here and it is making it 1. Getting my point? So Q becomes 0 and Q bar becomes 1. Am I right? Any harm? Okay. You can also ask that suppose if the present state was 0 1, not 1 0, it was 0 1 and the applied input was 1 0, the same input set was applied, same clock 1 was given, then what will happen? Let us see what will happen. Naturally, what will be feeded over here? 0 will be feeded over here. What will come at the output of this? 0. What will come at the output of this? 0, because 0 has been applied over here. And 0 at the input of NOR latch. If you recall, it is not going to give you any change, no change situation. This means this will remain in 0 state and this will remain in 1 state. So ultimately you will get 0 1 at the output, whether the present state is 1 0 or 0 1. After making all the changes, after making all the processing, the circuit is going to give you 0 1 if this input J equal to 0 and K equal to 0 was applied at the circuit and clock was equal to 1. Convinced with this or not? Okay. Now you observe for another set. For different input sets I am using different colors just to distinguish. Now suppose clock is 1. Any input can be entertained to proceed for the processing only if the clock is 1. Otherwise input is not entertained for any processing. Output becomes no change. Okay. So suppose if J was equal to 1 and K was equal to 0, this means J is now 1 and K is 0. Okay. You can proceed by taking any of the present state. Either you take 0 1 as a present state of the circuit or you take 1 0 as a present state of the circuit. Okay. Suppose I am proceeding with 0 1, that 0 1 is the present state, and this present state is with us because of the previously applied input 0 1. So 0 is feeded over here and 0 and this 1, naturally it is making this 0. Okay. What about this? This is 1, this 1 is feeded back and this 1 has been applied, it is making it 1, and 0 1 at NOR SR latch. Okay. What is going to be the output? What is going to be the output? 0 at the input of NOR is making it 1. Agreed with this? And 1 making it 0. This means this becomes 1 and this becomes 0. Agreed? Now you see when clock was 1 and J was 0 and K was 0, then there is nothing to discuss, because this J is 0, K is 0, it is going to make these inputs 0, and these inputs 0 means there is no change at the output. Okay. Now look at this situation. If J is 1, K is 1, and we can proceed with any of these states, either 1 0 or 0 1. So better to proceed with this 1 0, and we have now better to change the pen also. We have now say J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1. Both the inputs are 1. Okay, both the inputs are high, and clock is high. Clock is high means 1 is reaching over here. Okay, input itself they are 1. Now who is going to make any change at the output of this AND gate? We have to see the input because of this feedback. Okay, so 1 is coming, 0 is coming over here. 0, this 0 is coming over here. Getting my point? So this is making the output of gate number 2 as 0. And this 1 is coming over here. There are all 1s. This means this is making the output of gate number 1 as 1. So this is the input 0. What will it do? It will make the its output to be equal to 1, and 1 and this input 1. Okay, it is making it 0. So this output was, when it was 1 0, it became 0 1. It became 0 1. Getting my point? Suppose this output was not 1 0, but it was 0 1. It was 0 1, and J was 1, K was 1, and clock was 1. So when it was 0 1, our present state was 0 1, and this was the applied input, what will happen? This 0 is going to make it 0, and this 1 is going to make it 1, and this 0 is going to make this to 1. Getting? And this to 0. This means whatever was the present state, that is complemented. Present state is complemented after the application of the input and clock. Okay, and this condition is called toggling. Output is toggling. Okay. Now you can very easily see that the undetermined condition or invalid output situation has been avoided. It has been avoided. But still this circuit that I have discussed in this problem is having some setback. It is having some problem. Still it is having some problem. I will expose those problem in my next lecture. Okay, and we will get the solution for those problems. So better you study these things in your text